Coming in at number 10 on our Locked On Senators 2023 NHL Draft rankings. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. It's Oliver Moore from the U.S. National Team Development Program.
Ross, Oliver Moore is such an intriguing prospect to cover, and I know this is on our quote board, but we have to start off with this because it's so huge. EP has said about Oliver Moore, they have never ever has elite prospects scouted a faster, more agile skater than Oliver Moore. Let that sink in. Like, this is a young man's league. It's a speed league, and he is the fastest player they have ever scouted. It's incredible, and it doesn't take you long, Ross, to figure out what they're talking about. Go look at his highlights. And the thing with Oliver Moore is, when I saw them say that, I was like, oh wow, this guy must be chugging along. Like, he probably has like quick, powerful strides. Like, it's probably obvious that he's such a fast skater. Well, it's obvious that he's a fast skater because he's blown by guys, but his strides they almost seem effortless, and he's able to pivot. He's able to win any loose puck battle there is. He's using his speed to be the first guy on the forecheck. Or let's say there's a turnover in transition, not a big deal. He's whipping back, and he's back defending in no time. Like, the speed is incredible.
Incredible would be almost an understatement. This guy, like, people who are watching this, open a separate YouTube page and just type in Oliver Moore highlights. This guy flies. He legitimately flies. And like we talked about Matthew Wood, I would take Oliver Moore before Matthew Wood.
Yes.
Easily.
Agreed.
I just think that you look at the fact that he has a separating attribute that is the direction the NHL is going. I just think is an A+ attribute that you can't go without. Now, last year, he was actually injured at the end of the year, so he missed his under-18s as an underager. This year, he wears a letter for Team USA. He was wearing an A for that tournament, and he put up numbers as well, 9 points in 7 games, and he did the same at the U.S. National Team Development Program, where in, I believe it was 61 games, he had 31 goals, 44 assists, good for 75 points, and 26 penalty minutes. He's 5'11", 188 pounds. I mentioned a left shot centerman. His range is a little bit wider than Matthew Wood. And right, you see the undersize. You're like, okay, maybe some scouts are taking that into consideration. But Scott Wheeler has him at 7th. Elite Prospects and Rachel Dory both at number 8. Chris Peters at number 12. Craig Button at 16. Bob McKenzie only put out a top 12 right now, updated, so he's not in the top 12. And Corey Prodman is down at 19. Prodman's rankings are absolutely wild.
Yeah, he was down on our boy Benson, and now he's down on our guy Oliver Moore here.
Yeah, this is crazy. Somebody wrote in the comments on YouTube being like, we got to ditch these rankings. But you know what? I appreciate the different views of opinions.
Yep.
Like, if you look at the 2020 draft class, look how Prodman ranked the Sens draft class versus Wheeler on the Athletic. So I guess it's kind of confirmation bias. Whatever you think of a player, you're going to just chirp whoever has something different. But I do find it intriguing that there is such a range. And the Minnesota native will head to play for the Gophers at the University of Minnesota next year. And dude, put him on Logan Cooley's wing. Right? Matthew Nyes leaves. You put Oliver Moore there. Different type of player, obviously. But man, this guy, he's going to put up a point per game in college next year. I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not so sure about how easily he'll be able to put up points, but I do know that his speed is going to allow him to transition to any leveling up in competition much more easily than other people. And we've already covered 2/3 of that top line in the U.S. program, Ross. And the thing is, he was the second line center. He was on the second power play unit, and he was this team's top penalty killer. So, like, he's right there with those elite guys. It's just, I mean, it's hard to beat those elite talents. So the fact that he's able to kill penalties as well, we know very well what a speedster can do on a penalty kill, and they can be a threat offensively, and that's what Oliver Moore can do. But the only reason I hesitate about putting up such big points, Ross, is he relies on his skating to get a lot of work done, and he's not exactly a finisher. Like, he's got a good mid-range shot. I think he does have offensive skill, but I'm not so convinced that he has that high-end offensive creative ability like some of these other guys we've mentioned recently.
Yeah, and that's a fair comment, and that's what some others are saying about him as well. Like, you always lead with the skating, like Chris Peters did as well. The fastest player in the draft, and EP agrees with that. In the medals they give out, number 1 straight line skater, second in 4-way mobility, the second best transition forward behind Connor Bedard. Ever heard of him? 2-way forward, second best in the draft. And what I like too is it's the 4th fastest motor in this draft as well. And I wonder, drum roll please, if he ends up in the Motor City, where he pretty much is like a carbon copy of their captain, right? Dylan Larkin, that's who they have shades of on elite prospects. Speed, 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 but can the rest of the game develop? And who better than Dylan Larkin to kind of take him under his wing and show him that, like, hey, here's how you do this, here's how you do that. I think that would be a perfect fit. Where Detroit's where in the draft order?
I want to say 7.
No, 7's Phil. I think they're 9th. I'm pulling
Okay.
now. The draft order. We should have that up though. That's all good. We got this here. They are number 9. Bang.
Okay. Yep.
They're 9th and 17th. So hey, if it's Prodman's ranking, he could be there at 17. But I highly doubt that's going to be the case. But I just see that's kind of a good fit for him. I also wouldn't be surprised if a team like Washington at 8 took a high upside swing at him. But look, there's obviously some flaws in his game. First, I would probably say can his tools contribute to grander success, or is he going to be a guy who just flies around the ice but doesn't do a whole lot else?
Yeah, I'm confident that his tools will get to that point, Ross. And the thing is, there's a difference between being a good skater, a great skater, and an incredible skater. Like, you don't want to pass up on someone that can skate like that, because it's such a big part of this league that, like, honestly, it's just about, if you can be a step ahead of your competition, that opens up so much for you, not only you, but your line mates as well. So I just see this guy playing a really good supporting role. And sticking to your Detroit story there, Ross, like, look, they have so many great pieces. Like Lucas Raymond, that's a creative, elite, top talent skill. Then you've got Marco Kasper. That's a guy that works hard. He's going to win those puck battles, and he's going to be giving 100% effort every shift. Now you add an elite speedster to that, and man, they've got it covered from all angles prospect-wise here. There's probably a million other guys I'm leaving out here. So I really think that that could be a nice pick for Detroit, and I can see Oliver Moore being picked in that 7 to 10 range.
Do you think he projects as a centerman? He played second line center at the program. That's why I have him as a breakout candidate. I think that maybe moving to the wing in college could help him, especially with a guy like Logan Cooley down the middle. But maybe a team wants to take him and develop him as a centerman.
I think he can have success in both, Ross. My immediate opinion is I think he's better as a centerman, because that's going to allow him to roam more, and just any loose puck battle, he doesn't have to stick to his left side or right side flank or board or half wall. He can just go and get the puck and then set up his wingers now. And the thing is, I don't see him really as a finisher. So I don't need him on the wing waiting for the puck to get to him. I want him getting every loose puck and being first on the forecheck, first back on the back check. Like, I just feel like when you're a centerman, skating is such a big part of the game that you need to utilize that, and you need the freedom to roam. So personally, I would keep having him as a centerman. Like you mentioned, he was second line center in the U.S. program only because everyone else on that top line is so good. Why not keep him at center moving forward and see if that works? And if it doesn't, then try him on the wing.
We already covered the elite prospects take on him. Scott Wheeler says he wants to hang on to the puck and make plays, but he'll also hurry it up and dominate in and out of give and goes. He's got an impressive one-timer from the right flank, which leads me to believe that he could be a winger, and can really lean into it and rip it as a catch and shoot or in-stride wrister to score from the high slot. So, man, lots to like about Oliver Moore. Lots to like, whether it's going to be at center, on the wing. He's a player who we're going to cover a lot over the next couple of years, you think, as he kind of grows into his frame and is able to kind of add different elements to his game, is what we're kind of hoping to see. Maybe a little bit more down low play. Kind of like if you could build a prototype between Matthew Wood and Oliver Moore, if you took their best attributes and put them together,
Yep.
we're talking about a guy challenging for Bedard at the first overall pick, right? Take the shot and down low presence of Matthew Wood with his size, with the speed and motor of an Oliver Moore. Like that's the perfect hockey player.
Yeah, that's a really good hockey player. Absolutely. Yeah, I'd agree with you. And that's the thing. Like, typically you have one and not the other. Typically, either you're a great skater and you don't rely on your shot, or you rely on your shot and you're not a great skater. So, yep, very interesting.
For more on our NHL draft rankings, head over to the Locked On Senators YouTube page.